Welcome, everyone. This is Jermaine Jackson, sports producer here at Daybreak Star Radio, the only station indigenizing the airwaves. And today, we are honored to welcome a rising star both on and off the court, Ivy Fox. From the small community of Fort Berthold Indian Reservation in North Dakota to the bright lights of D1 basketball, Ivy Fox has been on an incredible journey. Standing 6 foot tall, she battled her way through every level, dominating at North Dakota State College, competing on the big stage with LaSalle Explorers, and now stepping into a new chapter with Haskell Indian Nations University. Ivy is not just a powerful force in the paint, she's a trailblazer, a role model, and a proud Native athlete, proving that hard work and determination can take you anywhere. Ivy, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to join us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Jermaine. I'm doing good today. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks for joining us. And to start things off, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know which nation or tribe you represent?
Madishi Badishka Heads. Hello, my name is Raven Woman. My name is Ivy Fox. I'm from the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation. I'm MHA and Dakota from Fort Kip Indian Reservation here in Montana.
Okay, so first question. When did you first fall in love with basketball? And who or what inspired you to pursue it seriously?
Well, when I was 5 in kindergarten, I lived off the reservation and I was signed up for the YMCA, learning how to play basketball. And from there, I just loved it. And growing up, I continued to play. My family made a basketball team for me. We called it Intensity. And we picked up different girls from all different reservations. One of them being Mayana. She plays at Haskell too. So for us to be able to wrap up our last year together will be pretty cool.
Oh, great. So you have some a familiar face over there with you, huh?
Yep.
Nice. So growing up in North Dakota, what was your basketball experience like in high school over at Parshall?
I would say them trusting me with the team, trusting me to be the leader of the team, and kind of being able to let me do my own kind of play style and just how to lead a team and how I'm going to be able to use those contributions in college and farther when I want to go play overseas and play pro and things such as that.
Who are your role models growing up?
Growing up, I say my role models was my older brother, Elijah Grady. He is really good at every sport. He, on and off the court, kind of just my role model who I look up to, being my older brother. And, him always being the best at the sports. I was like, I want to be just like that. So that was kind of my role model. Yeah, that was my role model growing up.
So you played at several different levels, starting at North Dakota State and then...
Coffeyville, yes.
Yep, and then over at LaSalle. So what were some of the biggest lessons or even the differences you experienced at each stop along the way?
Each stop, well, my first, I would say definitely leaving the reservation, going out on my own. I know everybody says it and it's often talked about, but, kind of losing who you are, losing kind of where you grew up at, leaving a res and going into, the world. It's kind of hard to navigate. And I was 18. So I guess just learning and, being out on your own the first time, that was what I learned a lot at that school. Basketball, I got, first team, all conference. I was player of the week multiple times. So yeah, I had a very successful basketball season, but off the court, I would say I learned, I had to grow up in a sense, I guess. So I decided to transfer to Coffeyville. There was a lot of other natives at that school, which I like. And they're in the Jayhawk conference. That's the toughest D1 JUCO conference in the country. I went down there and I got second team, all conference. And down there, I learned who I was, just kind of learning to navigate and stuff again. And, being able to be like, okay, I can do this. I got this now. And then I graduated with my AA over there. And then I was offered a full ride scholarship to LaSalle University in Philadelphia. I mean, that was my lifelong dream.
Like D1?
That was the goal, to go Division I. Yes, ever since I knew what it was to D1. So as soon as I got there, I wouldn't change the experience for the world and everything I learned. And being way out there, it was hard to be, away from my family, away from how I grew up, kind of feeling like I'm out of place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, went from not being in the rotation at all to starting. So I would say I had a pretty good basketball season over there as well. But just the distance and just it didn't feel right. And when something doesn't feel right, that's just how it went. So I got into the portal. Multiple Division I and D2 schools were in contact with me. Wanted me to go on visits, and I felt as if my best choice was going to be Haskell because I know Strom and I know they would not want nothing but the best for me over there. And I went over there a month ago, I would say, and I played with them in their summer league, and it felt right. I felt like I was at home.
Okay, so you're 6 foot and you play forward. What do you consider your biggest strengths on the court?
My biggest strengths, I would say, using my body, being physical. Growing up, I was taught to play extremely physical. I grew up with all boys, so you know how that went. Being physical, being vocal, just running the floor as well. I would say running the floor and being very physical are probably my strengths on the court.
What parts of the game that you want to work on and continue to refine?
I would say definitely not just being like a 3-level scorer, but being able to move off the ball extremely well. I feel like I can move off the ball a lot more, shooting, getting shots up every day, having a consistent shot come season time. My right hand, I'm left-handed, so I gravitate towards my left and the left side. So opening up more on my right side for sure.
How do you stay focused and motivated through all the ups and downs, even throughout your college career? How did you stay focused, or how did you stay in touch even with your native roots throughout all the ups and downs?
I would just say through prayer.
Yeah.
Anything I do is through the grace of God, and anything positive, negative is just to always praise and just to be thankful. How I stayed in touch with my native roots, I would say mostly my mom. My mom's mom she's a full Dakota, so my mom's half. So, she's just always kind of kept being on me about, remembering who I am and where I come from and our ways and roots and such like that. Dancing has played a big part in my life growing up. I wouldn't say stop, but I took a break for a while for basketball because I've been playing basketball year round now for 21 years. So basically my whole life. Yeah. Ever since I was 5.
As a Native American woman in college athletics, how is it important for you to represent your community and inspire younger Native athletes?
It's very, very important to me because I was them at one point. Having all these little young Native girls come up to me asking for pictures, autographs, what it's like. I can't be nothing but grateful and always want to give back and always want to help, because that's what I wish I had growing up on the res. I wish I had a older basketball woman star who I could have been able to talk to when I was younger, and kind of always wish I had somebody to kind of lean on to like that. So I want to be that person for these younger Native girls that don't got. Kind of growing up being like a shy little kid, it's different to see young kids just like me, and always wanting to help them. So I kind of take a lot of pride in that.
So what advice would you give to young Native girls who dream of pursuing college basketball or another sport?
I would say don't let nobody tell you that you're not able to get to where you want to go. If you truly put your mind to something and you're willing to sacrifice, that's going to take you a long way as it is. And to really lock in onto those traits and remember that it's fun. You fell in love with it because it's fun. It's not who you are, but it's what you do. To remember that you're an athlete, but you're also a person, and you're a person first before you're an athlete.
You have experience, in multiple programs, D1 programs, and you're upperclassmen. How are you going to approach being a leader?
Kind of do what I've always done, lead by example. You're in the gym every day. People are going to see you. Your teammates will see you. They'll be like, oh, I want to go get in the gym too. Or, you are who you hang around. So holding myself accountable and make sure I'm doing all the right things, and everything will fall in place from there.
Looking beyond this season, what are your goals both on and off the court?
Definitely finish with a degree. I want to go play overseas pro. Something I know I want to keep playing. Definitely come back to the res, and I want to start my own basketball program, and for the summer, for when there's tournaments and stuff for, girls who you want a team to play with, but their family is unable to, have the funds and stuff for things, because growing up my family had to pay a lot for me to be able to play and travel and things like that. So for me to be able to start something like that for the res, I think would be very, very beneficial.
The final question, what's one thing about you on or off the court that people might not know about you that they'll be surprised to know? Or what do you like to do when you're not playing basketball?
Lift.
Okay,
But I feel like I'm very
hit the weight room.
weight room. Yeah,
Yep.
weight room all the time. Stay in there.
Ivy, thank you for taking the time to talk with us, and it's been a pleasure. And we hope you are blessed with much more success in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the interview and thank you for having me.
Of course, Koyana.